I'm Nola, and welcome to my channel. I appreciate you spending time with me today, and today I'm going to be speaking on teacup and tea leaf readings. Hence you see me with the teacup. I'm going to break it down into 3 parts, and I have made notes because I'm unable to remember everything. The first part, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of tea and teacup readings, and then I'm going to tell you how to brew your tea and the kinds of tea that you should use. And the last part, I'm going to do a tea leaf reading or teacup reading for the collective. So let's go. So I believe or understand that teacup readings started back in China in the year 2737 BC. The Chinese have always had a love of tea, and it's a ritual or ceremonial thing that they do for many, many reasons. But one of the things that came out of this was tea leaf readings or teacup readings, also known as tasseography, whereby they use the patterns of the tea leaves in the cup to decipher a message or an answer to a question, whatever it is that that the seeker is seeking. So I got to know about teacup readings as I had a beloved aunt that did this when I was growing up as a child and a young woman, and then I was quite older when she finally made a transition. And I remember people coming with their teacups, sometimes wrapped in newspaper or a dishcloth or a tea towel, and sometimes my cousins and I would have to brew and make the tea. And this is why the best kind of tea to use for a teacup reading would be considered loose leaf black tea. Now, there are lots of herbal teas and so on, and even the tea from a tea bag is too fine. The reason that loose leaf black tea is used because the structure of the tea leaf helps to define the symbols within the tea cup. And so this is why it is recommended, and I strongly recommend also that you consider using loose leaf black tea. The other thing I would like to speak to you about is the brewing of the tea. So I'm going to do this in 3 sections. The first part, I've just spoken on the history of tea leaf reading or tasseography. The second part is now how you would brew your tea. It's preferably you have a little teapot. So you boil your water, and when the water is almost boiling, you would pour some into the empty teapot, and then you would empty it out. That's warming the teapot. Then for, let's say you are going to make 2 cups of tea. So it's 1 teaspoon for the teapot and 1 teaspoon for each teacup. It doesn't mean that you need a teaspoonful of leaves in your cup, and I have a cup here that I'm going to show you how to turn the cup and how we would get some of the symbols and how to read those symbols and so on. So the last part will be a reading for the collective. So we have already spoken about how you would put the tea in the teapot, then you'd pour boiling water over the tea, and you'd let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how strong you like your tea. There are many ways to drink this tea. You could drink it with sugar and milk, which is considered the British way or the English way. You could also have it straight up without anything in it, just sugar with some honey. Some people like lemon and honey, whatever floats your boat. That's what I say. I like mine with a little sugar and milk in it. So once you have made your tea, you'd settle down, and this is the part where you would get to set your intention, okay? So you would think about some of the questions that you might have answers to, or your subject or your seeker would think about this. So as you're sipping your tea, you would think of what the questions are. I've been sipping my tea, And some of the questions that I've been asking is about the collective. And when I get to do this, you must remember that not all of the messages are going to resonate with all of you. There are many people out there with many different situations. So you will take what resonates with you and discard the rest as doesn't relate to you. Okay, so you would then drink your tea. Until almost the end. And as my aunt would say, until there are a few dregs in the bottom of the cup. Now, some people don't like to get the tea on their tongues or their lips, so you kind of keep your teeth closed. And that's about all that you need. Just a couple of drops of tea in the bottom. And you place your teacup on the saucer. If you don't have a saucer, you could use a bread plate or a side plate. But I do have a saucer here, and the best kind of teacup to use for a reading such as this is something that doesn't have a pattern on the inside like this. Okay? If you use something like this, the pattern on the inside could then ruin what it is that you're trying to read. You may not be able to see the pattern, not ruin, but see the pattern. Okay? I love wide bottom teacups like this. I don't have one that isn't patterned on the inside that is as fancy as this. So I've chose to use this cup. You would also have a napkin, so known as a serviette. Okay? And the reason for this is that now I'm ready to turn the teacup. So you take it in your left hand, just like this. And you'd swirl it gently towards you 3 times. 1, 2, 3, towards your heart. And then you would turn it over. And you would let it sit in the cup like this. Now, after it sits like this for a few minutes, you could pick it up and you could then put it on a napkin. And as you can see, there are tea leaves in the saucer. Can you see that? I don't know if you're able to see that. And still some tea in the saucer as well. Let me see if I can stand up with this. Nope, that doesn't help. Okay. But if you could believe that there are some tea leaves, there we go, and some tea in the bottom. So I would also read those tea leaves. Okay. So I'm going to gently pour off the excess onto the serviette. I'm sorry, I don't have a very good multi-camera setup. I just have this one camera that I'm using. And there you will see the leaves. So what I always do, even before I start any reading, even when I come into my office, I say a little prayer. I ask the white light. For me, I love Archangel Michael. I ask my guides and my angels to come in, and I ask the Archangel Michael to be the gatekeeper. And so I have already set that intention, not just for myself, but for you, the viewer, and the collective. So then I close my eyes and still myself. And I ask, if you're going to do this, that you consider doing this too. And then I pick up the cup, just like this. And you look on the inside, okay? You see the inside of that cup. Now, sometimes you will look at the symbols. Sometimes you'll see a heart that might mean an incoming love affair. You may see a symbol of a broken heart. That could mean that somebody is trying to get over a broken heart. Or you may see a bird, and that may mean that somebody is going to be traveling soon. Now, when the symbols are in the bottom of the cup like this, okay, the bottom means in the distant future. If it's closer to the top, it would mean in the near future. And closest to the rim, things that are going to happen quite soon. And the same applies with the saucer. There is a pattern, see, on the saucer. So I will be reading this. And once again, I'm going to tell you that I do TeaLeaf readings. I am a medium. I have some mediumship gifts. I have several gifts, and one of them is also mediumship. So whatever resonates with you, please take it. If it does not, discard it. So here we go. Let's see what I get. For the collective, I feel that so many people in the world, and you don't need to be psychic to see this. This is, or know this, or feel this. This is what Spirit is telling me. Are feeling very weighed down. We've gotten off to a rough start in the year of 2025. The scales are unbalanced, and there seems to be chaos wherever you look. People are seeking so many things, but most of all, they're looking for peace and safe havens. Nobody seems to know, or few seem to know, what to expect next. This is where we get to the fact that the answers are not outside of you. If you still yourself long enough, the answers are within you. Turning the cup, you can turn the cup in all different directions to get the symbols, the symbolism. Mankind will prevail. 2025 in numerology is also the number 9. So the world, as we have known it, will cease to exist. There is a whole new way of being and living coming in. And even on an individual basis, there will be things that you will have to let go of. There will be people that you may have to let go of. This can be very, very painful or difficult. It's a time of letting go, making space for the old to allow the energies to bring in the new thing. So let's say you have a house that you've been stuffing to the gills for 50 years, and it's now time to start cleaning out those things and giving it to people that can actually make use of those things. There's going to be much to do with water this year. Lots of rain, a few tsunamis, just disturbing patterns with water. And I'm from the United States. This is not just a Florida thing. This is a universal thing. This is for the planet as we know it. And I know that it has already started. We've seen it, and so this is what Spirit is trying to convey. Great floods. And now I'm going to read what is in the saucer. I'm clairaudient, and I also get feelings. And sometimes I have flashes of scenes, almost like a movie or an old camera film. I see stuff that way. Oh my gosh. Patty, you are married to a man named, gosh, you just lost your father, but your husband's name is Frank. You recently lost your dad, and he wants you to know that how grateful he is for the care that you took of him. Your heart was broken the night that you left the hospital. You said you went back 3 times to view him at the hospital, and when you got home, you felt him around you, and that was not your imagination. He knows that you are not a believer, that you've never been, but he wants you to know how grateful he is and that he is always around you. And he says that you must encourage Frank to see a doctor, something to do with headaches in the front of his head, and that an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So whoever you are, Patty, this is your dad, that wants you to know your husband's name is Frank, how grateful he is to both of you for all that you did for him. And he says, may Frank know that when he is fishing, that he's right there beside him. Anne or Anna, you know that you require dental work and you're not sure how you're going to get this done. And what I'm hearing is that you will need to seek or go and get, the advice is for you to go and get a second opinion. Is all the work they say you need really correct? Or should you go and get another opinion? I'm not saying that you don't need the dental work. What I'm saying is that Spirit wants you to know that all may not be as it seems. Many of you are gifted and super sensitive. I am not the only one that has gifts like these. All of us have them. If you just will settle yourself down to a quiet place. And for me, I love tea. I've always been a tea drinker, and it calms me down. My mom used to say, if someone drops dead on the floor, step over the body, make a cup of tea, and then decide what you're going to do about it. She would also say, if I die in the middle of the night, to not wake the people up. Let them sleep. In the morning, I'm still going to be dead. There'll be nothing they can do about it. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I'm saying that to say this, okay? I thank you for being here with me today. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I've got none of those qualifications. And these readings are for entertainment purposes only. If you have any questions, I encourage and invite you to please put your questions in the comment section. I will appreciate it. Thank you, and until the next time, take care and bye now.